Namaskar, Namaste, Swagatam, Vanakkam, Buongiorno. Well, today we are going to be looking at a very beautiful pranayama practice. It is a pranayama practice that is very, very helpful in a stressful situation. Any situation where there is sympathetic overactivity, when the adrenal gland is put under a lot of pressure and there is an overload of the adrenal hormones. These are hormones that are protective both in the acute and chronic stress. And that is why in acute stress, the adrenal medulla gives us the adrenaline, noradrenaline, also known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. The adrenal cortex, which is the outer part of the adrenals, is secreting the cortisol, which is a chronic stress hormone. It is the hormone that helps us manage chronic stress. And this is where the homeostatic mechanisms are trying their best to help us. But as our stress levels increase, the homeostasis, those mechanisms get converted into allostatic mechanisms. So this is an altered homeostasis. Because homeostasis is meant to manage day-to-day, moment-to-moment changes. But when the change becomes the normal, it is like the lockdown has become our normal. Well, there's going to be more allostasis. And as the allostasis has to keep on working, the allostatic load starts to go up. So one of the very good pranayama practices which we can use at this point of time is called the Sukha Purvaka. The Sukha Purvaka Pranayama is a pranayama that is often also referred to as the square breathing, because the square is a stable symbol. So when we are looking at the Sukha Purvaka Pranayama as taught in the Gita-ananda tradition, what we find is that we are going to be using all the four phases of pranayama. That is, the inhalation, held in, exhalation, held out. These are technically known as Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, Shunyaka. So you have the square, Puraka, which is the inhalation. The second is the Kumbhaka or Antara Kumbhaka, the held in retention. The Rechaka, which is the exhalation, and the Bahya Kumbhaka, or in the Gita-ananda tradition, we call it the Shunyaka. So you have in, out, held out. It's like a square because all the four phases of the breathing practice are going to be of equal duration. So if you are breathing in for 6, you hold for 6, you breathe out for 6, you hold out for 6. If you are breathing in for 8, hold in for 8, breathe out for 8, hold out for 8, depending on whatever your capacity is. One important aspect is when you are holding in, is that the moment you hold in, you are starting to change the dynamics of the pressure-volume relationship in your thoracic area that then also affect both the abdominal area as well as the blood vessels coming up into the head through the neck. So it is very important that one applies either a mild bandha, or in our tradition, the Gita-ananda tradition, the Rishi culture Ashtanga Yoga, we use a practice called Aprakasha Mudra. Aprakasha is the respiratory center, that brainstem respiratory center that is associated with all our breathing, our circulation, so many of the autonomic activities that keep us alive. This aprakasha mudra is done in a very simple way by swallowing. So you breathe in and then you swallow and you hold the breath while swallowing. So this act of swallowing acts just like a modified Jalandhara Bandha. Now this is where, for those who are not used to doing the Jalandhara Bandha, where you do the Mayura Mudra and then you bring the chin down to the jugular notch, closing up the area. If you are not used to doing that, and again here, because the retention is not going to be so long, that the aprakasha mudra actually becomes very practical. So you would be breathing in, swallowing, holding in, breathing out, and holding out. Okay? Now you will say on the held out is not so dangerous, because what has happened is already the lungs have come back to their normal position. Whereas when you breathe in, what you are doing is the whole thoracic cavity, the pressure-volume relationships have changed very dramatically. And that if one is not careful, this pressure is going to be pushed up into the neck through the blood vessels and down into the abdomen and affecting the abdominopelvic region. So we are going to work on this Sukha Purvaka Pranayama, which is interestingly a very beautiful practice used whenever you feel stressed and whenever you want to reduce the adrenal overactivity, to prevent what is today called adrenal exhaustion or chronic fatigue. Now, this chronic fatigue is because the sympathetic stress response or reaction, as I said, is being brought into play again and again and again when we don't need it. Okay? So now let us perform 9 rounds of the Sukha Purvaka Pranayama. This is actually a 4-phased breathing, and maybe on another day when we can take about half an hour, we will look at it step by step, how you build it from the Sukha Pranayama, which is just in and out, the Loma Pranayama, the Viloma Pranayama, finally becoming this 4-pronged Sukha Purvaka Pranayama. So just remember, just like a square, a mental image of a square, you're breathing in for the 6th count, holding in for 6 count after aprakasha mudra, breathing out for 6 counts, and holding out for 6 counts. So let's perform 9 rounds of this before we go into the synchronized global prayer today. Breathing out. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last round. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a few seconds to contemplate, to take the mind inside and experience the beautiful stability. A stability that comes from a deep place within us. A stability that enables us to respond to the challenges rather than react to them. The Sukha Purvaka Pranayama enables us to deal with the adrenal overactivity, reducing the allostatic load, thus enhancing our capacity to deal with the challenges, enhancing our self-reliance and the resilience that comes from within, the capacity to adapt to the external changes. The Sukha Purvaka Pranayama is a wonderful pranayama, and in another session, on another day, I will go into a bit more detail and we'll work on all the 4 aspects where we work on the Sukha, the Loma, the Viloma, and it then expands into what we just did, the Sukha Purvaka. Every day in the morning at 8 a.m. Indian time and 6 p.m. in the evening Indian time, the Indian Yoga Association, spearheaded by our dynamic president, Guruji Padma Shri Dr. H.R. Nagendraji, has devised a IYA protocol for this period of crisis. And this has 27 rounds of the Brahmari Pranayama with a low-pitched humming sound. Preferably 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out is the count given. We then, at the end of the 27 rounds of Brahmari, make a sankalpa, an aspiration, saying, with all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. And this is done with the hands raised, or as I said, in the Anjali Mudra or the Kailash Mudra, depending on your choice. The reason we raise the hands is a gesture of aspirational elevation. But if you don't want to raise your hands and feel comfortable with them at the Namaskar, well, that is also, to me, quite a decent alternative. But Kailash Mudra is a good one. You also look better. When you do the Kailash Mudra, you have a nice photo frame for your face, so you look good on candid camera, right? The aspect is after that, what we do is that we will be doing a few rounds of clapping in appreciation of all those wonderful souls who are in the forefront of this battle. And then we end with a Shanti mantra. I just saw that Don Browning is asking a question, Sukha Purvaka Pranayama. Yeah, the name is Sukha Purvaka, Purvaka. And I will see if later on I can share one of my videos where these details are there. And there's an article on our website also I'll share on how this has been adopted by some of the police force to deal with adrenal overactivity. Coming back to the synchronized global prayer, join me for 27 rounds of the Bhramari Pranayama. I am not using the mudra. You could choose to do it with the mudras. That is your choice. But the humming, we want everybody to be humming at the same time. And that is the most important component here. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Let your mind go inside. A very beautiful, deep, introspectional samyama practice. The Brahmari, enabling us to attune to that inner sense of wellness and well-being. One of those practices that is a practice that calms us down, attenuates the overactivity of our limbic system, a practice that enables us to respond rather than react. Let us now make the sankalpa, the aspirational statement, an aspirational statement that we want to win over the COVID-19 through our collective power of peace. Join me with the hands elevated as we make this statement 9 times. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. With all our collective power of peace, we win over COVID-19. Let us clap and express our heartfelt appreciation to all those wonderful human beings who are out there in the forefront of this battle. Those who are enabling us to stay home and stay safe by risking their wellness, their well-being, putting themselves at risk for the sake of humanity. Let us express our deep appreciation. Patanjali tells us to have cheerfulness towards those who are noble and virtuous. Let us be the cheerleaders of these wonderful human beings who are fulfilling their dharma so that we can be where we are. We end with a Shanti mantra and 3 times repeating the Shanti, the Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. This is a wonderful synchronized global prayer protocol devised by the Indian Yoga Association, led by our dynamic President, Padma Shri Guruji, Dr. Nagendra ji, and on my behalf and on behalf of Anand Ashram at ICYR and Saiter of Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth, Yoganjali Natyalayam, Pondicherry Yogasana Association, and the entire Geetananda Yoga family, I feel this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to come together, coming together for the sake of humanity. Let us remember that each one of us is a drop, and each drop makes up the ocean. Sometimes we wonder whether it's all worth it. We seem too small. we feel that we have nothing to offer. But just remember, every drop makes up the ocean. So don't never let yourself feel down, but do not get an ego thinking you are the big ocean. That's the problem. When you try to help people develop self-esteem ends up with ego. So one has to have that balance also. Let us be the best we can be. Stay home if you can. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay blessed. See you all later. Thank you so much for being with me.